Well, here we go. Let's see what scene this is. Oh, it's a new act now? Act 4, motion. I didn't know there was going to be a new act going into that. Or I forgot it was. That's the more accurate statement, I guess. Let's see, what's the name of the scene? Whispers of the Past. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. Quickly. There we go. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that at least I've got another chance with Emmy. That is good. If I can just keep myself from doing anything stupid, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. Knowing me, I'll do something stupid. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Emmy is waiting for me as promised, looking a little haggard but otherwise bright and cheerful, much more so than any previous day this week. Sal, you're late. And this again? I waved my hand dismissively. Nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Nonsense. You're just early. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back where we should be with one another. Except now Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward, although a part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second. Hurry up and stretch, Sal. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? Oh. Yeah, the bus. I want to show you something. I don't want to be late. Oh, okay. I try not to grin too wide. I'm happy beyond words that Emmy wants to hang out after the run at all, but her promise of showing me something has me even more intrigued. Is this what she had to think about? I wonder just what she's planning to do. I quickly go through my warm-up routine while Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to the other. She really does seem to want to get to moving as soon as possible. Where are we going? The run is over so quickly I can barely believe that I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace and I, in my foolishness, kept up with her. Told you I'd do something stupid. Well, until the last few laps, I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind, and Emmy's waiting patiently for me when I finish. As patiently as she can wait, anyway. Finished? Good. Come on. Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office. You seem in a hurry, Emmy, trying to catch the early bus? Yeah, I told Mom I'd be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first, then. But Hasal's got to come with me, too. The nurse raises a single eyebrow at the statement and peers at the two of us searchingly. What is this? I-O-U? I-O-U. Really? Today, huh? What's today? Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office, and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seemed to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some jokers of the significance of today, beyond the fact that it's clearly significant in some way, of course. It has to do with her dad, doesn't it? Or the accident or something. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I take her place after promising to meet up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit. Your heartbeat's faster than usual. Been pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed in a rush to get through the run, so... I'm not surprised. Today is rather important to her, you know. I suspected that could be the case, but I have no idea why that's the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. So you're not going to tell me either, then? No, you don't want to ruin the surprise. No, I'm not. I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining today to you, and I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough. So what's the rush? Take a chill pill. Go with the flow. Or that's what I do, is go with the flow usually. Now as for your heart, I would take it easy the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that. Got it? Got it. She won't have her running legs on anyway, right? No, but if you think something like that is going to stop her... Good point. I don't think it'll be much of an issue today of all days, but still, if he's trying to reassure me, he's doing a terrible job. I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be for, like suddenly finding out Emmy's in a cult or something. Are you daft? She's not a cult leader, she's a pirate. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emmy wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, to the sleepless nights and the sudden mood swings. Either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dare from my room to get a shower and throw on some decent-looking clothes. If today is as important as it seems to be, I should dress appropriately. Emmy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts, so at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, Hasal. Not as early as you. Eager, are we? Emmy cheekily pokes out her tongue. The bus stop is very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy, and we end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work herself up to say something. I don't have anything to say myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious as to why the nurse thought it was so weird for me to be bringing you along today. I was a bit, yes, but if you're not ready to tell me... Emmy stops my sentence by placing a finger on my lips. Don't tempt me, Hasal. I want to tell you this, but I'm just uncertain as to how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or deferring, I just want to be able to say it. So say it. You know that's not going to be that easy for me, Hasal. So treat it like running. Warm up to it with something small and easy, and go from there. But don't do it too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get to it. Emmy seems to consider my words, weighing them against what is probably a desire to get it over with. I will admit, as much as I keep telling Emmy to take her time, I wouldn't mind her getting it over with either. But somehow I know that Emmy probably needs more time than the bus ride will provide to get it all out, whatever it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. The bus stop probably isn't the best place for this anyway, but just to make sure that I don't go back on my word, I'll at least say this. She takes a deep breath, lets it out, and after a moment says in a low voice, "We're going to see my dad today." The music stopped. The words hang in the air. I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, which a part of me almost wants to do. That would be a really bad ending. You know, go down this bad route, start getting back with her. We're going to go see my dad. Just book it. That'd be terrible. But it would be stupid of me to back out, or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to be there for Emmy when she needs me. You're right, don't do something stupid. The nurse thought it was so weird of her to bring me along. She doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't before today. The day seems to take on an even greater significance. What has it taken Emmy to even get this far? Almost losing you, I guess? And why is that the best I can manage as a response? Yeah. I don't know what I should say. Sometimes nothing is better than anything. Nothing, I think. Just promise that you're going to come with me. But that's only rare occasions where saying nothing is better than saying something meaningless like, sorry for your loss. Of course, you know I will. Emmy smiles wanly, looking a little relieved. What does that mean? Wanly, lamely, wanly? I don't know. In a way that shows no energy or enthusiasm. Let's see. How is it pronounced, though?
Wanly.
Wanly. Emmy smiles wanly, looking a little relieved. Good. In that case, we'd better get going. The bus pulls up just a little after she finishes the sentence. Vague memories of my first trip out here come to mind as I step off the bus, but unfortunately, they're too vague to be of any use. I will be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get to Emmy's house, so I let her lead the way. Well, it has been like a week or so since that fight. She seems content to walk in silence, and I myself have no idea what I could possibly say, so the two of us arrive at her house having said nothing since getting off the bus. Emmy's mother opens the door and doesn't seem surprised to see me standing next to her daughter. I expected Emmy would have phoned ahead to let her mother know the change in plans. Emmy, Hasal, you're just in time. Lunch is just about ready. Great, I was afraid we might be running late. As fast as you were going this morning, I doubt there's much of a chance of that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Hasal. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I don't blame her. I was the same way. Or I am the same way. I'm a culinary kid. Or was. I hadn't noticed. This earns me a swat in the arm from Emmy, who despite the serious nature of her conversation on the bus and the almost brooding quiet walk has quickly become cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whatever it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Mrs. Ibaruzaki ushers us in short order we're around the table devouring lunch. I hadn't realized how hungry I was until I got here, but for once I seem to be eating almost as much as Emmy. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you are acting like you haven't eaten in days, 'cause we haven't. I skipped breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the bus, I assume. That and I figured you'd make too much food, so it wouldn't matter if I skipped the breakfast. Well, it's good to know that I'm predictable. Emmy nods enthusiastically, and conversation falls off again as we very nearly clear the table of anything edible. It is a testament to the sheer amount of food on offer that we don't finish everything. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank Mrs. Ibaruzaki for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Hisao. Now, has Emmy told you where we're going? Yeah, sort of. Is it far from here? Not really, but we'll drive there to save time. It closes kind of early. I nod in assent and stand up, ready to go. Well then, shall we? Ooh. Mrs. Ibaruzaki nods and leaves the room to grab her keys. Emmy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts? Emmy smiles tightly at me and shrugs. She's fallen silent again, which probably means that I'm right, and she's starting to regret bringing me along. Not that I blame her. She's done such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. What is this song? Ooh. Raindrops and puddles? But she said while waiting for the bus that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out, and since I promised to go with her anyway, I suppose there's not much of a choice. I can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope the both of us are up to it. We're off. Emmy's mother blows through the dining room, collects the two of us, and heads out the door at a brisk pace. Now I know where her daughter gets it from. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her hand a comforting squeeze, which causes her to relax a little. So I was right, it was the graveyard thing. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back, as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that someone used to be alive and is no longer. How many died young? How many were as old as I am now? When do I wind up with a marker of my own? How much longer do I have left? Don't worry about how much longer you'll have left. Worry about the present. Live each day like it's your last. The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emmy anymore, is not a happy one. It frightens me, and I very nearly turn around and exit right then and there. Live life to the fullest. I don't want to go among dead people. I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were or what they could have been if they'd only had more time. Then I look at the girl next to me. My resolve returns. Emmy striding purposely down the path, eyes clear, setting a pace that's very nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks, the better. We're here. Ooh. A gravestone, wholly unremarkable in everything except for the name etched upon it. The grass has grown up around the base. I like the color of the pink flowers down there, but... So, I've always seen pictures of gravestones like this, but is it just a... Well, obviously besides the letters, is it just a Japanese thing, like... Because the gravestones I usually see in America are the flat little, like, rectangle things on the ground with someone's name on it, or they're like the rounded tombstone. But sometimes I see bigger, different ones. So what song is this now? Friendship. Emmy's eyes are riveted to the stone. After a few moments she turns around, looking surprisingly calm, yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favorite color, you know? What? I'm warming up to it. Is it green? Judging by your shirt? People tend to think that pink's my favorite color. I think it's because I like strawberries, and even though those are red, they just assume that pink's the right color for strawberries. I mean, there is a shade of pink called strawberry pink. As far as I remember, anyway. And then it's my favorite color, but it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise. Of course, and it's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet even you thought pink was my favorite color. I guessed green by your clothes. Blue, that's my favorite color. My mom and dad are the only two who know that, and now you do too. Blue's my favorite color as well. I like lighter, kind of bluish green things more, like aqua colors, kinda. Yeah, I looked up strawberry pink's a thing. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum, but actually singing a song is something I've never been able to do. I don't mind, because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. I've never done karaoke. Well, that's one potential date idea out the window. People all think that I'm a really popular and friendly person, but I only have a few close friends. Probably because I keep everyone in the dark, but I think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. You hate the idea of losing us? Well, wasn't that what the bad ending thing was kind of about? Or what caused that anyway? We were both worried about losing each other. There aren't many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbye. I sometimes think that I only run because of what I used to do with my father. Ooh. You're not my first boyfriend. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year at Yamaku, but in the end we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. He couldn't live with that distance between us, kind of like what happened to us in the bad ending. Her rate of speaking increases slightly as if she's rushing towards the finish line. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everyone thinks I'm younger because I'm short, but I had to skip one school year because of my accident. They initially thought I was paralyzed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I'd lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. After surgery, it was clear that their initial assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of shock. Short-term paralysis due to the other trauma I'd experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they'd ever seen, or so they told me. I never found out if they were serious about that or if they told that to all the patients learning to walk again. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago today, I lost my legs, and I lost my father as well. She looks so sad, which is all understandable. He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the gravesite until 2 months later, and couldn't attend his funeral. That's sad. I'm so sorry. Don't be. That's what everyone always says, that they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like anyone could have done anything to change what happened. Stuff just happened like that. Sometimes, like, let's see, from September of last year till now, I went to, let's see, one of my aunt's funerals, and, a great aunt, a great uncle, one of my dad's cousins, another great uncle, and just recently I was at one of my grandmother's nephew's funerals. So in less than a year I've been to 5 funerals. You know the best piece of advice I got? These things happen. I don't even remember who said it, but I guess I didn't have anything better to say. I mean, I just said I've been to 5 funerals in less than a year. These things do happen. It sucks, but it happens. But it's true, you know? These things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. They aren't necessarily planned, and they aren't always bad, and they aren't always good, but they are. I mean, yeah, sometimes funeral or deaths are like expected to happen, but then sometimes it's unexpected out of nowhere. So I made a decision that I would live without worrying about the future, and to be sure that I never had to say goodbye again, I decided I wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, They could be taken away at any time, and you know what? You can't always plan for when someone will die. She laughs, a little bitterly. Her eyes start to well up with tears, and I step forward to embrace her, but she holds up a hand to stop me. I'm not finished. A deep breath, and she continues. It worked pretty well until I met you and saw that you were trying until I met you and saw that you were trying to adjust the stuff here. So I thought I'd help, and then you were so nice and I couldn't help it. Oop. The tears are flowing now, and she accepts the embrace this time. The rest of her sentences mumble into my chest. This is a good artwork or CG thing, whatever you want to call it. I still like the color of the pink flowers in the background. Maybe that's what made her think of the pink thing, because of all the flowers. The tears are flowing now, and she accepts the embrace this time. The rest of her sentences mumbled into my chest. I tried not to fall for you, but I did. And then I tried to keep you at a distance, like with my first boyfriend, but I couldn't. But I've been so scared, because I don't want to lose you, and I might anyway. Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe I won't be forever, but don't you think it'll be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a bus crash or something, but so long as I know that I've been with you, I don't think it matters. I mean, yeah, the day could end a lot differently than what it is. Is it zooming out? A sudden thought strikes me, and I can't help laughing. My condition had scared me of dying so badly that I immediately seized on the opportunity Emmy presented to improve my odds of living longer. But without Emmy, whether there had been any motivation to keep up with my running, it hits me that Emmy is the reason I want to go running every day, so I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks up at me, confused. We'll go on living until we stop, and when we'll stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we've had time together, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I love you, Emmy, and right now it's enough for me. Sometimes that's all it needs to be. Emmy smiles through her tears and steps back from me. You know, it's funny. What is? I thought that the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone, but now I don't think I'd have it any other way either. I'm glad I met you, Hisao. Well, these things happen. It's still true. Love and death are both random things that happen. Like, sometimes you don't choose who you fall in love with. Emmy and I stay by the grave for a while, as Emmy pays her respects to her father. When she's ready to go, we exit the graveyard side by side. That was sad, but also touching.